What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with the final live stream of 2024. And I'm really excited to do the first live stream in 2025 because I'm greatly looking forward to 2025. It is what I anticipate being the final chapter of this cycle, the year after the halving, which has always yielded the biggest gains, the alt season that we all came here for. And we're going to talk about today if we're going to get what we came here for. I think that we are. We're going to talk about where we are in this overall cycle, what to expect in the weeks ahead, where Bitcoin's at right now. We'll talk about possible returns on some big caps. I talk a lot about small caps on this channel, but we'll talk a little bit about some big caps and where I think they'll go, because there's some safety and some good gains to be made in some of those tokens that we take for granted. And everyone's risk tolerance is different. And a lot of people are looking for some safer options and picks. So we'll talk about prospective price targets on some of the big caps. We'll talk about the small caps that we know and love. We'll talk about an indicator that has signaled the top of the last two markets, 2017, 2022, or 2021, and how to what it is and when we can expect it, how to, I guess, plan for an exit strategy, because as we head into 2025, we're going to be moving from offense to defense. And the deeper that we get into 2025, I think that the focus of this channel is going to shift into, protecting gains. Right now, it's all about making gains. At some point, we're going to talk about protecting gains. So you have to anticipate these things before they happen and know what to look for. So we're talking about an indicator that has signaled the top of the last two cycles. So as always, a lot of news to cover, a lot of things to get into. Let's see who we got up in here so far. MVE in the house, what's good? He says he has all 7 cryptos that I mentioned, I guess, in the Twitter post. Let's see what happens. We're going to talk about it. Mint layer pools will mint millionaires. David Fox. Yeah, I like mint layer a lot. I'll talk about I had Enrico on. He's a CEO and founder of Mint Layer. I had him on the channel for an interview a couple days ago, Saturday morning. So you can always check that out. I'll talk about my takeaways from that. And I like Mint Layer at this price, at this stage in the market, alongside some other small caps. So we will definitely talk some about Mint Layer. Show me in the house. What's going on, brother? Mohammed Siddiqui, let's go. Made it on time. Russ, Danny, Mcade and Tet, LFG, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, brother. Yeah, 2 altcoins that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do in 2025. Mcade has already gotten off to a very nice start. Tet, not so much. A little slower, but I'm not deterred. I'm not nervous or anxious about it. And we'll talk about why that is a little later. Frank is ready for 2025. It will be huge. I know Frank hates the volatility in crypto, so I'm sure he'll be ready to exit and secure those gains. B-Dubs in the house. Thank you for the super. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for showing up and always supporting the channel. Appreciate you. We got Bruno in the house repping Mcade. Cash Games in the house. What's going on? Quant. David Fox likes Quant. I'd like to see Mcade stream some user tournaments a bit like Omi influencers used to stream drops. Mcade live, not much on socials. Yeah, Jordan and I did a Mcade stream where we played some games live. Perhaps that's a possibility this bull run. This better be the longest stream of the year. It'll be like an hour and a half, maybe. I've got a Chuck space. I got to jump on at 4:45. OG Vault in the house. What's good? Small caps are my favorite. Mine too. The way I look at it is Bitcoin is obviously runs the show, right? Bitcoin drives this whole market. but it also gives you the least returns at this stage in the market, right? You should always be heavy in Bitcoin at the beginning and then rotate into smaller caps, because that's where your big gains are going to be met. And, Ethereum and then the big boys, they'll get you good gains, but the small caps are the potential 100xers, 50xers, etc. And so if you're able to hit one of those, that's why I'm here in crypto. I diversify across, a good dozen small caps that I think have good potential to do that. And we're going to find out how it plays out. Walshy in the house. What's good? Here's to a fab crypto year ahead. Happy New Year's. Yeah, Happy New Year's to everyone. B-Dubs asks which platform I use to track my portfolio. I use CoinStats. It's a good way to track. And I do not, though, connect my wallet to it. I would not connect your wallet to it, but you can import everything in there and it'll track your portfolio. That's what I use. Mario C here. Let's see. I'm going to get back to the comments in a minute, but let me share my screen. Let's go through some of the stuff that I have prepared for the stream. And then I'll get back into the chat as always. Light up the chat. We'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about. But Bitcoin dipped below its support. As you see right here, went a little lower. We dipped all the way down to 91K, back up to 94, a little over $94,000 right now. And, we're trading in this range, and this was to be expected. I talked into my last stream about how typically at this stage in the market, which is the parabolic phase of the market, this is the most exciting part of the market, but there will be 3 to 4 dips/corrections on Bitcoin. Okay, and that will drive the whole market. And we're at about week 8 post new all-time high right after the election, about 8 weeks into this new phase of the market, and Bitcoin has done what it's always done, which is corrected. It's a healthy correction. I see a little bit of fear on my timeline, but not too much, which is a good thing because I don't think that there's any reason to be fearful right now. I don't think the top is in. The only negative outcome right now is if the top is in, right? And I cannot believe that after 8 months of sideways action in a macro bull market with S&P still strong, the economy still going strong, that we're pulling back and that the top is already in, right? So if the thesis is that the top is not yet in, then we can expect a stronger move up above $108,000. All right, and historically, when we get at this point in the cycle, in January, which is right around the corner, that's when alt season really kicks in. So we got a taste of alt season. Here we go. We got a little taste of it early December. Big caps started running, XRP, etc. Bitcoin corrected, dragged alts down with it. But if you look at last cycle, I talked about this last stream. Here we go. Okay. January. Look, Bitcoin dominance was at 70% in December of last cycle. So December of 2020. Bitcoin dominance was 70%, which it was stronger than where it is now. We topped out at a little over 60%. I think we're at like 58, 59% right now. But Bitcoin was really strong. Alts were really weak. And people were questioning whether or not we'd have an alt season. All right. That was last cycle. Same exact point to where we are right now. What came after was after a correction on Bitcoin, its first correction, it came back. Ethereum went on a big run and alts made a big move in January, culminated in alt season that lasted through about June, all right, midway through the year. So fast forward to where we are now, And what I've learned is never bet against the cycle. We always think this time is different. It never ends up being different. I'm getting DMs from people asking if this time is different because of, the ETFs and institutional money, and maybe only Bitcoin has, a parabolic run this time and alts get left behind. I don't believe that at all. All right. For evidence that alts are going to run, just look at earlier in the year. Plenty of money poured into alts. We had a mini alt season in January, February. It was hard to find something that wasn't pumping. Okay, that was a mini alt season when we approached new all-time highs earlier in the year. Money will flow into alts. We've seen the big boys start to move. I expect parabolic moves in many of these coins in the next few months. And if you look at wait, I have too many. Here we go. These are all stable coins that are currently sitting on exchanges. We're at an all-time high of stable coins that are sitting on exchanges. And look how many people moved to stables or got into stables over the last month or so. We are at an all-time high on stables on exchanges. Once the breakout is confirmed and once alt season is confirmed, we can expect those stables to be deployed into the market, right? Into alts. Ethereum has not had a big move yet. Again, last cycle it made its move around. Let's look at it. It started its move up in 2020 was the halving year. So towards the end of the year, it started going. All right, we saw a big move up in November, smaller move in December, but look at the first quarter of 2021. And almost an 80% move on Ethereum in January. 7% in February, 35% in March, 44% in April. Okay? Before the big dip in the overall market, which did signal the top in a lot of altcoins. Okay? Last cycle, we had a double top, and many coins peaked out in May. Some peaked out in November, right? Many peaked out in November, many peaked out in May. And so it was a little difficult, I think a little more difficult than the previous cycle, 2017, where it was a blow off top, more of a straight line up. All right. So we don't know what we're going to get this time around, but we do know that last cycle, post halving, look at the return on ETH. Look at, this is, the 2017, ETH was a baby. In 2017, had a 50% run up here in January, huge correction followed by another big boom. All right, but last cycle it was more mature, and so if we're looking at where we're at now, ETH had a big move in November, 47%, a dip in December. It struggled at the $4,000 mark. I think come January it should blow past that. Now, would anticipate it closing in on $5,000 in quarter one and going to new all-time highs. All right, so January, February, March of 2025, I think ETH goes to new all-time highs. I think that really also drives alt season because ETH is if Bitcoin's the big daddy of the whole show, ETH is the big daddy of alts, and so especially anything in the Ethereum ecosystem is going to benefit from ETH exploding. So I think that happens again, first quarter of 2025. And, you see some headlines now trying to instill fear in the market. They got the USDT delisting going on. This is in Europe, where, with the most widely used stable coin, Tether's USDT, has been the center of regulatory debates, and it's facing delisting on European cryptocurrency exchanges. all right, due to their regulations. I don't think this is a big deal. I think that there's always been uncertainty, fear, uncertainty, and doubt around USDT. There's always, it's not, it's a stable coin that's not matched in reserves one to one, right? So, the fear is that there'll be a run on USDT and it'll depeg and it'll crash the entire market, right? That's a fear that could play out one day. It's not going to play out in the middle of a bull run. Those types of things, depegging, contagion effect usually happens when the water goes out in a bear market. But USDT is still widely used in all other markets. It's available on DEXs in Europe. Europeans can still use it on American exchanges or not on Coinbase does not use USDT, but on other exchanges like Binance, etc. And so this to me is something that, it's temporary headlines that people will move on from. Positive headlines, and not just headlines, but a bullish, a fundamentally bullish, thing that's taking place is FTX repaying people that they owe money to. And this is billions of dollars in stables that are going to be paid out to people who were, rugged on FTX when they went down. And the repayments are starting in January. All right. So I think starting on January 3rd, crypto exchanges, BitGo and Kraken will handle the dispersed funds and could take 60 days to finalize. So anyone who had up to $50,000 in claims is going to be reimbursed first. And we're talking about, I want to say like $40 billion. Here it is. 16 billion. It's expected 16 billion to be dispersed to victims. So what's going to happen to this almost, $20 billion in stable coins during a bull market, right? As we head into alt season, and now people are going to be coming into almost $20 billion in stables. It's a perfect setup for an explosive alt season. So, I expect, again, Bitcoin to maybe go lower in the short term. Maybe we wick to, I think, let's see, 91.5 today. I wouldn't be surprised to go even lower to maybe high 80s. Have the market reset a little, and then Bitcoin start a move back up to all-time highs and get past them as we head into Trump's inauguration, which is January 20th. All right. So that's a perfect news story to catalyze this market and rejuvenate it and really pump the bags. And again, if you look at Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin in the first quarter of last cycle. 15% move in January, 36% move in February, 30% move in March. Right, so again, historically, after the halving and the year after the halving, the first quarter is big. All right, so I expect similar things to play out. And that in turn will lead us to our altcoins, which will see outsized gains. 36 people in here. Let's get into the chat a little before I talk about some of the other things, big caps, small caps, etc. Let's see what you guys have to say. Russ said he heard liquidity should be about 10% of market cap. Mcade is nowhere near that, which doesn't settle me a little. I'm not sure what the market cap to liquidity ratio is on Mcade. Yeah. It should be 10 to 15%, I think, is healthy. And that's the other thing, is getting out, right? Your gains on paper, and when you're trying to get out, my strategy is going to be to DCA out. Talk about an indicator that could signal the end of this market. And I'll bring that up now. That is the pi cycle top indicator. All right. So the pi cycle top is an indicator that pretty much called the top of last cycle. But again, last cycle was tricky. So it called the May top. And what the pi cycle top indicator is when, let me pull it up. So the pi cycle top is a tool that's used to identify cycle tops. All right. And it's when the 111-day moving average, which represents a shorter term price trend, crosses over the 350-day moving average, okay, which is the longer term trend and trajectory of Bitcoin. So when the 100-day moving average rises sharply and crosses above the 350, it historically coincides with Bitcoin's market cycle peak. It's just something to watch and keep in mind. We have a limited amount of data in this sector. It's relatively new, right? This is the fourth cycle. And so less than 20 years of market data. That's not a lot. So things could always be wrong, is the point. And last cycle, here you see the pi cycle top calling a top in May. Right? This is May 17th. Now, the tricky thing about last cycle is we came back in for a double top. All right, but it fizzled out. So it kind of was a cycle top in May, but the market also rebounded, and a lot of alts topped later in the year. So it wasn't perfect last cycle, but it did call the top of the first half of that year. Okay. And many alts put in new all-time highs right around here. The previous cycle, 2017, the pi cycle top indicator called the top, as you can see right here. And what happens is typically this is the Bitcoin top, and 2 weeks later or so is when alts top out. So if you see this signal flashing in, May of 2025, could be a sign that Bitcoin's overheated and, altcoins are in for their final parabolic move. Because typically that's what happens after Bitcoin tops out. Alts don't wait. There's no confirmation, right? The market, people don't know when the top is until there's hindsight. So typically after Bitcoin tops, you'll get a parabolic move on alts, and they'll do 4 or 5 X's in a matter of weeks and have their finale for the cycle. So again, last cycle, double top, a little trickier to call, but this is one indicator that people should be on the lookout for in 2025 to try to figure out when to when to exit the market and when to be taking profits maybe a little heavier. And again, I plan to take profits in the spring. I'm taking some profits. I'll see where the market, how overheated Bitcoin looks, if I think it has a lot more room to go. But I'll be taking profits in the spring, expecting a big pullback sometime in May, April through June. Okay? Because again, we're going to get potentially 3 to 4 big dips in Bitcoin in the next year. We're in the middle of the first one. Okay? The deeper you get, when you get to that second dip, third dip, the more risk is on the table, because the third dip could be the final one. Right? And then you're headed towards the next cycle and the bear market. You don't want to be holding a bag all the way down. Okay? You also don't want to be buying on the way down. For me, my buying is over in the next 5 weeks, more than likely. All right, my bags will be packed and I'll be done buying, and I'm shifting to defense. Right, I've had years to buy and accumulate. Maybe I sell some stuff and do some rotation, but I'm not going to over rotate, because I've learned the hard way that when I over rotate, I chase something that's shiny and new that could be a rug, right? It could be something that's not necessarily better than what I'm holding. And so I won't be over rotating, but that's how I'm going to be playing it in 2025. But be on the lookout for the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. I'll be watching it on the channel, along with other indicators that tell us when the market is overheated. Harish in the house, what's going on? Mario C, everyone is fading AI agents, and I think it will be a top narrative. I think it will also be a top narrative. The thing with AI agents is there are so many of them, and so many are going to come out that claim to be AI agents, and that it's hard to discern what's what. And so I think that's the issue. But AI, the way I position myself, and my father-in-law is now deploying a lot of money into this market, and he asked me to help him, to invest it for him. And so I'm doing a lot of research on things to buy for him. I'm going to mix it up with some bigger caps that are safe, and then go into a lot of those smaller caps that I have done a lot of research on and like. I lost my train of thought, but all right, here's what I was going to say. If I'm a new person and I'm getting into this market, and I've had new people, again, come to me over the last week. If I'm a new person coming into this market, first you have to identify your risk tolerance. Then you have to identify your goals. And then you have to formulate a strategy. Okay, so if you don't have a high risk tolerance, then bigger caps are a way to go. And I'm going to bring some of those up in a second. But when I'm looking at buying cheaper stuff, things that could 50, 100x, I like first cycle coins. They typically, historically, give you the best gains in a hot sector. So that's AI. I think gaming will do well. I think RWA will do well. And meme coins are going to do well, but meme coins are hyper risky, and you have to pick the right ones. And there are so many of them, right? But the blue chip meme coins are always solid to go into. So in researching for my father-in-law, let me zoom in. I didn't want to go full DGen Danny on him and get him into all small alts. I wanted to give him some, measure of protection and some things that are just safer bets that have confirmation from the market that, the thesis is if Bitcoin does what it's going to do, Ethereum will outperform that, and strong alts will outperform Ethereum. Okay, that's the way it is. And these are just some that I like that are bigger cap coins that I'm not buying for myself because I like smaller cap ones, but I'm buying these for I started buying some for my father-in-law. All right, and these are some potential returns, and this was just me eyeballing it. All right, this isn't like some fancy math that I did. This is me eyeballing where it is, thinking about where other coins went last cycle that are similar to it, right? So I have some context and thinking about the possible returns. So SUI at $4 and $11 billion market cap right now. A lot of people are talking about SUI. They now have meme coins on there that are doing very well. Lofi is one of them, which is sitting at $115 million market cap. I think it went as high as maybe 200 million. But it's quite possible Lofi goes to $1 billion. They have Axel on there that's at 50 million. You're starting to see an ecosystem develop on SUI. They have a gaming console that they're coming out with that kind of, it's gimmicky. It reminds me of what Sol did with Saga. So Sui this cycle reminds me of Sol last cycle. And it's already put in a huge move, right? But it's not going to stop here, right? And it's at an $11 billion market cap. I think Sol went up to about $90 billion market cap last cycle, and I can see Sui getting there, possibly beyond it, right? Which would put it at, I think it's about an 8x to get to where Sol was last cycle. And I can see it crossing that $100 billion threshold. People throw around market caps in this space, as if everything is like easy to attain, right? And it's important to note that historically, I think there are 5 assets that have gotten to 100 billion in market cap in crypto: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and BNB. All right, 5 assets have crossed 100 billion. All right, so it's not an easy target to hit. Just keep that in mind. But I do think that more will cross it this cycle, right? And we saw Sol get past it. Kaspa is currently, I think, like a little slept on because it's had this long period of consolidation, and which I think is bullish because I think it's ready for breakout. And look at it. So Kaspa has been consolidating for a year in this range. From November of 2023, it was 12 cents. Here we are. Over a year later, almost 12 cents. I hear some people in Kaspa complaining about its performance. Those must be people who have gotten in during this reaccumulation phase, but not understanding that it came from less than a penny a year before. So it had a huge move up. Okay. When the rest of the market wasn't moving, Kaspa did a huge move up and made a lot of people a lot of money. And you're seeing that money change hands into newer holders. And Kaspa is kind of being slept on, I feel like right now, because it's been in this boring sideways consolidation period. It's at a $3 billion market cap. It's widely heralded as, some of the best technology, and people are really bullish on it from a tech standpoint, right? Fair launch, all these things that it has going for it. And so Kaspa is one that I wouldn't be shocked to see it put in a 20x from here, which would put it at a $60 billion market cap. When you think about last cycle, Polkadot got to 50 billion. I think Cas can do that, get to 50 billion, 60 billion, which is a solid 20x if it's able to get there, right? But again, it's a bigger cap that has less risk attached to it because it's proven asset. It's not a rug. It's got a community built in already. And so there's less risk involved. You're not going to get 100x out of it, though, this cycle. AVAX also, I think, can put in, I think can get over 100 billion this cycle, especially if that gaming narrative hits. AVAX is meant to capitalize on that. Rndr, I like a lot at $3.4 billion market cap. I think it could, as an AI token, it could lead the way there in terms of market cap and get to 50 billion. Time will tell. Near Protocol, solid at $5, 5.8 billion. Pepe, people sleeping on it at a $7 billion market cap because they missed the move. But it's the 3rd biggest meme coin by market cap in the world, right? I think it's number 3. It's just listed on Coinbase. Doge got to 70 billion last cycle. I think Pepe can get to 70 billion. Shiba, what did Shiba get to 50 billion last cycle? I think Pepe can get to 70. I think Doge will get to 100. I don't think it's out of the question that Pepe gets to 100. And here's the thing with Pepe, it's kind of like thinking of an analogy, it's kind of like the McDonald's of crypto, right? It's what everyone's going to buy. When I talk to people that know nothing about crypto and they ask me, what should I buy? One of the first coins they say is Pepe, all of them. It's what they've heard about. They don't know about market cap. They don't know that it's already gone up, thousands percent and is now at a $7 billion market cap. They see that price of 4 zeros, they're buying. It's on Coinbase. So when you think like, how is this going to go any higher? Retail is going to buy the shit out of Pepe. Okay, because that's what they do. They don't know any better. They're not looking for Devve. They're not looking for mid-layer and Mcade. They're buying the most marketed, the most mainstream tokens that exist. And that's how those tokens get to those outsized market caps, because literally everyone is buying them. Okay, that's how you get to a $70 billion market cap as, a meme coin. Everyone is buying it. My father, who is 85 years old, owns Dogecoin. That's how you get that high. And Pepe is ripe for that. All right, so again, I don't hold any Pepe. I'm not looking for a 10x. I wish I bought it in the bear market. I was going to buy Pepe at like 200,000 after the retrace and load up on it, but I didn't. Right? But that would have been from here like a 300 10x, 30x, right? A 30x, 40x. But it's still got another 10x in it. So again, if you're looking for safer stuff, Brett, 11 cents, $1 billion market cap. Brett is still not on Coinbase. I think it's the biggest market cap meme coin not on Coinbase. It's on Base Network, and maybe that's part of their strategy is they don't want it on Coinbase. They want it on Base to, keep liquidity there and drive liquidity to the smart wallet. It could be, but if Coinbase were to list Brett on Coinbase right now, it would shoot up to 5x, 5 billion or so. That's how Pepe got to 10 billion real quick from 2 billion. Brett's going to 5 billion quickly if it's listed on Coinbase. Right? And so if it's listed on Coinbase and normies start buying it in mass, then, I can see Brett putting in a 20 to 40x. But time's going to tell. And virtual is, that's AI play on Base that came out, and they are, from what I understand, like they are the ones they create the AI agents and things like that. They're like an AI infrastructure play. Already up a lot. But again, good exposure. If you want exposure to AI, it's up a ton. Okay. Base Network, $3.5 billion market cap. But at this point in the cycle, should have another 10x in it. And again, look at last cycle at this point in the cycle. Solana was $2.27. Went to $258, right? So this was Solana in December of 2020. VeChain in December of 2020. Chili's wasn't even a thought. It did a 541x. Polkadot, which already had a big run, put in a 10x from I think this was at a $5 billion market cap at this point in the cycle. So when I talk about some of those bigger plays that have already run, you know, they're going to put in 10Xs just like Polkadot did last cycle, right? Polkadot had that big run, hit 5 billion, and then did another 10X. And it peaked in May. All right. Then that, you know, people were waiting for higher later in the year. It never came. So those are some bigger caps. If you're interested in big caps that offer some safe, you know, some more level of safety. But, you know, make no mistake, when alt season comes, everything is going to go up, right? It's a rising tide lifts all ships sort of thing. And anything that's strong, you're going to have a hard time finding anything that hasn't pumped. And we saw that earlier in the year when all the gaming tokens were going nuts. GameSwift, WagMe, we were in all of them. Mcade actually didn't pump too much. It went up a little, did like a 2X later after everything else. Playable Games, though, did 100X. And it was hard to find things that hadn't pumped. And even things like Vemp, which is a small like gaming project, even this pumped. Okay. And this is, it's a shit coin. All right. This is, they have like a little mobile game or whatever. Last cycle they came out, they pumped. But because gaming was hot and people were looking for any gaming token that hadn't yet pumped, even this pumped. And that's the thing to remember, is that when alt season comes, the moves are violent and everything that's decent will pump. So you just have to execute your plan and be ready. And when it's pumping like that, you should be selling. I'll be selling. I'm going to get into some of the smaller alts. Let's get back into the chat. Danny, can you please look at Hash AI? Yeah, let me take a look. $93 million market cap, 870,000 in volume. I mean, for the year, it looks like a lot of other charts. It's on Mcade. It's on some small exchanges. I will take a look at the website. But, you know, chart-wise, it looks very similar to, you know, other AI tokens that are of that. Here's the AI tech. Month down 40%, just like Hash AI. So they move together. And, you know, it's not rocket science. You know, if you're in a good AI project, a decent AI project, when AI projects move, they're going to, you know, go up together. But I'll take a look at the website when I get a minute. But it looks like it's moving along with other AI stuff, and I would expect it to do the same once we get cooking. Devve, I think Mohammed, I think Devve could get well beyond $10. And again, a lot of this is like, it's kind of like you're placing your chips on the table, right? You don't know what's going to 100X. You just know what could 100X, right? From where you're buying it. And so I look at it as like placing chips on the table. And if one of them catches flight, you know, gets headlines, the team, you know, gets them on the right exchanges, etc. Devve is definitely one. And this chart has been very strong. While the market's been down, Devve's been up 125% on the month, up about 5X from its bottom of 14 cents. So if you've been following the channel, I've been talking about Devve for a year. I started buying it back here. I accumulated a lot down here. Mohammed also accumulated down here. It's up 5x from 14 cents. Devve is one. I'm not saying it will happen, but Devve is one that could get to, a $6 billion market cap, which is $80, which is 100x from here. Again, I don't know that happens, but Devve is a layer 1 blockchain for institutions. All right. So for instance, if NASDAQ wanted to tokenize all their stocks and put them on the blockchain, they can go to Devve, which has regulatory. They claim they are they're compliant in terms of regulation. They're ESG compliant. And they are built to build blockchains for institutions and customize blockchains for institutions. And in January, they have an announcement coming out that they say is a major announcement. I've heard speculation that it's NASDAQ. I don't know that it's NASDAQ. I would find it hard to believe. All right, but even if it's something that people have heard of, that catches headlines, and now Devve starts gaining more attention, it is a potential 100xer from here. So from the low of 14 cents, that's much more than 100x, right? If you were able to catch this at 14 cents. But even if it doesn't do that, I'd be disappointed if it didn't get to $10 from here. If it only, I can't say I'd be disappointed, but I think that $10 is conservative if we get a parabolic alt season. Then anything that's decent should 10x, right? Any altcoin that's good should 10x. And I think Devve has the potential to be great. So, $10 Devve, $20 Devve, an $80 Devve isn't out of the question. It's not. But we'll see what happens. We have to let it play out. I'm not calling for an $80 Devve. Is XRP going to go parabolic? No, I don't think so. And I see a lot of people talking about the price action on XRP and calling for really big market caps. And I mean, it's already at. So XRP is at 121 million. It's cooled off a bit. I think a large part of its move is priced in. Okay, so people who are saying, well, the SEC is changing and, the lawsuits and all that stuff, all that stuff to me is kind of priced in already, right? That's why we had the big move up. Big caps move first. Another thing to remember. I think XRP goes up from here. I have a hard time seeing it above like $10. $10 would put it at a $600 billion market cap, which is bigger than where Ethereum was last cycle. I don't see it. If I had to guess, I would say $6 to $7, which would put it at $6 would put it at $360 billion market cap, right? Which would be the third highest ever. To go parabolic, a 10x on this is $1 trillion market cap. I see people calling for $100 XRP. That's a $10 trillion market cap. That's bigger than that's 3 times as big as the whole crypto space, including Bitcoin. XRP is not going to $100. And it can't go to $1,000. That's a $50 trillion market cap. That's crazy. Okay, I don't see that happening. So, I mean, that's my opinion on XRP, is $6 to $7 this cycle, maybe 10, but that's my opinion. I don't know. No one knows until it's over. Pixel says bags are packed. ready to fly, absolutely, into 2025. Vivi Zombie says Omi to the moon, and Omi had a good run up. Omi had a nice move up. Here we go. $130 million market cap, 0005. So it had a nice move up over the last 24 hours. You'd like to see Omi hold the level, right? This is what's been the problem with it, has been the sharp sell-offs. It hasn't been able to hold levels, and the main fear with Omi in the next year is that there'll be a lot of sell pressure along the way, right? Making it hard to burst through different levels of resistance. But, with good volume coming in, I think Omi will go up over the next year. And I hope it does really well for all the people that are have big positions in it. What's good, Josh? How are you? Timo in the house. What's going on? If January and February are going to be big for Bitcoin, can we expect March and April for ETH and then alts? Or do you think Bitcoin and ETH go up at the same time? I think ETH is ready to break out. I think when Bitcoin breaks out, ETH goes up along with it. I think this could happen. This could be like October, where we had October, which was Uptober, and everyone was expecting, crypto to break out. And it just wasn't happening until like the last 4 days. And then we did close up 10%, and we did get a move, and it was October. I don't want people to have the mindset that it's January and, Bitcoin and Ethereum are going. I think some point by the end of January, I think they're going to get going. And I think that ETH will start outperforming Bitcoin. And I expect alts to start their move up alongside them. Right? So when ETH starts going, I think alts are going to start going. Any Chuck updates? So Chuck has been recently listed in a gambling platform, Pigmo.com. It's a Web3 gambling site. They listed Chuck token, so now you can transact in it and use it in there. There was another Mcade tournament recently, a listing on Ascendex a few weeks ago. There'll be a Chuck space at 4:45 p.m. But those are the most recent updates on Chuck. Pi cycle top is for Bitcoin, correct? So the last two times the Pi cycle top hit, altcoins topped about 2 weeks later. All right. So when Bitcoin tops, you get the final run on alts. And that's how it's worked thus far. I don't feel like there's a double top this time. I agree with Ron. It looks, with that long period of consolidation, that 8 months of consolidation, it doesn't feel like we're going to have a double top. I think it's going to be more of, longer term up and to the right with some pullbacks. And again, the more pullbacks we get, that third pullback in the market, you're getting close to the end. But we're going to have to go through it and see. And it's kind of like driving a car with your headlights in the dark. You can only see what's in front of you, right? And so it's good to look at the indicators. Ron's great at reading short-term markets and candlesticks. And so you take all that information and you formulate your thesis and you place your bets. And a good thing to do is, a good question to ask yourself as we get deeper in this market. For instance, let's say right now you have $50,000 in crypto and it 10x'd. And now you're sitting at $500,000. It's very easy to get greedy, right? And chase after a 2x. You're 2x away from 7 figures. But let's say it's, August, September, October, whatever it is. Would you feel comfortable putting $500,000 into the market at that stage in the market, knowing that you're closer to the end? If the answer is no, then you should probably take chips off the table, right? And that's how I think about it. It's very easy to think about the numbers in the portfolio as monopoly money and as fake money, and almost like a video game, like a high score. But you got to start playing defense at some point. And that if that means not capturing the whole move, it is what it is. You'll live to fight another day and come back with more ammunition than what you started with. So just have your strategy ready, and it's going to get really emotional, right? We've seen it. This space is very emotional, to the upside on euphoria and downside in fear, right? So a lot of people get fudded out their bags and are too fearful to buy and get greedy to the downside, right? I'm seeing that on Tectum. It's at $5.50, and people are getting, fudded out because they bought at $8, $20, etc. Once the price goes up, and let's say Tectum gets back to $20, the bull case narrative is going to take hold, and you're going to wish you could buy at $5. When Devve was 14 cents, 16 cents, people didn't want to touch it because of the dilution. The bear case narrative for Devve was, you're going to get dumped on. There's so much dilution. And so people didn't want to buy it when it was 20 cents. Now it's 90 cents. And the narrative is, well, they're going to have a big partnership with an institution. So price dictates narrative oftentimes. You can't be too greedy to the downside. You also can't be too greedy at the top. And the two things that, euphoria and fear have in common is greed, right? Greed will destroy you in this market and prevent you from taking profits at the top, right? And also greedy in terms of waiting for lower prices. I have receipts of me texting people, and I throw them in my friend's face all the time. Bitcoin was 15,800, 16,000, the exact bottom. And I was texting him. He had 6 figures sitting in the bank. And I said, buy yourself 1 Bitcoin. And he said, no, I'll wait for 12K, right? Because there was so much fear in the market back then. He was being greedy to the downside. So, greed works both ways. And I think we have to train ourselves to be objective and to take our emotion out and to eliminate that greed. And it's not easy because we're dirty, filthy humans. To anticipate Rndr getting listed on exchanges other than the Ton app, I would think so, that Rndr gets, and I think they are. They're on Mex. No, they're not on Mexc. I think you're right. And Rndr has performed really badly recently. $18.5 million market cap. They're on KuCoin, Mexc. So they're on the smaller ones. They must have gotten listed on Mexc when the owner of Ton Network got arrested, because I remember trying to buy before that, and I had to swap. So, I still think Rndr will do well. I think it topped at $150 million market cap, 18 cents right now. Ton Network is at, here we go, $14 billion market cap. It's going to get lifted up with Ton. So it's paired to Ton. I know that it's a CTO. Redo. So whatever money that they get, I think would have to be raised from the community, or they just have to be naturally listed on some bigger ones. They condition people to buy the dip, and then they buy a downtrend. 100%. It's very important to understand. The good thing is being in a full cycle, right? You know what it was like to catch a falling knife now. If you were here last cycle, you know what it was like to catch a falling knife. And so you'll be able to see some of those signs. I feel like we have no choice but to rotate to AI agents. Yeah, maybe I'll have Ron on here next week. I know he's been looking into AI agents, and we'll talk about some. I'm bullish on based AI and Cubic for AI plays. Yeah, Cubic is one that I know a lot of people like. I'm not familiar with based AI. I know Cubic is supposed to do a ridiculous amount of transactions per second. Mcade will probably launch its AI agent. Yeah, I think so also. Mcade has, if you look at CoinMarketCap and you look at the categories for Mcade, they have the AI tag there. And I think that's because of their marketing, their level up program has AI integration. So I definitely anticipate Mcade trying to catch that AI narrative, that gaming / AI narrative. And Russ is a smart guy. He knows what's next, and he tries to get ahead of it. So good things there. Mcade already mentioned. Yep. Casper Jeremy, always appreciate you coming through, brother. Simi on base too. Maybe Mcade will use that. Josh says he likes a lot of those picks. For me, the only project that deserves its place in the cycle. Not sure which one. Mcade is pure diamond. AI agents, the future. Here's some that Giovanni. Mcade, Chuck, Donnie, I have the most in conviction in them. Yeah, and Donnie's been holding up really well. That's a small cap meme coin that a lot of us in Ron's Crypto Therapy group got in on early at about 12K. It's now at a 400K market cap, holding up strong. Chuck, super strong community. We're holding the floor there at about $1.5 million market cap, has not gone below that, which is almost 10x the launch price. So we'll see what happens and how it plays out. Thoughts on Chainlink and Immutable? Yeah, I like them both. Chainlink's a blue chip, right? $13 billion market cap. Previous all-time high is $42. It'll get past there, I think, this cycle. Last cycle, it kind of underperformed. But I think there was a lot of sell pressure from the team to raise funds, things like that. So I remember something like this. But I don't know that Chainlink can 10x from here, would put it at over 100 billion. I think it's a safe-ish 5x, possibly 7x, but it's a safe play. It's a blue chip. It's definitely, it'll go up with the market. The technology is actually, so many projects in this space, the tech is useless. That's not the case with Chainlink. It's the main oracle that's used to feed data to a lot of these places. And IMX, I think, will greatly benefit from a gaming run. Let's pull up IMX. $2 billion market cap. I can see it getting to 20. All-time high was about $10, right? Back in 2021. This launched towards the end of last cycle before they really had anything developed on there. So I can see it. It's a legitimate project that's been around now. I see it doing well. Fart coin coming for Pepe. Fart coin is it's crazy how these things just catch flight. Do you like Giga or SPX as meme plays? I mean, I didn't catch them early. I think they're going to go up. Murad called them, and Murad is going to keep on pushing them. And so they're going to continue to go up. $640 million market cap on Giga Chad. It's going to be interesting to see how high some of these go. It'll continue to go up. I would consider it, a safe-ish play in the meme space. It's one that's been confirmed by the market. It's got Murad pushing it, who's, maybe now the face. He could become the face of this meme cycle in terms of like influencers. He's really well spoken. He does a great job of breaking down the psychology of meme coins and what makes a successful meme coin. So, I think Giga will do well. I think SPX will also do well. He's calling on I think he called for like $100 million, 100 billion SPX. I don't know about that, but I mean, look at it. The thing with meme coins is this is SPX. You have to go all the way back to 2023. October of 2023. It was trading at a penny, which was about, I want to say, $1 million market cap. And it traded between a penny to 2 pennies. It went below a penny for a year. Imagine holding this meme coin for a year and it does absolutely nothing. And then it does absolutely everything. And that's how meme coins work, right? So we talked about, someone mentioned Chuck earlier. Chuck has been in this $1 million range. Does it do this? You have no idea what's going to do what, right? You look at, Ski Mask Dog was trading at $1 million. Look at this. Same. For a meme coin to take off, there has to be a level of virality there, right? That's what a meme is, right? It goes viral. It's got to go viral. And then, once it crosses that threshold of 100 million, 200 million, it's eyeing the billions. And so SPX, to answer your question, I think goes higher into the billions. I don't know how high. Ski Mask Dog. And if you play in meme coins, I would say try to find a good meme that has a good community that knows how to hold a floor. If you like trying to catch that explosive gain, right? A good meme, good community that knows how to hold the floor. And then you have to hope that, a fire gets struck and it catches flight. And for Ski Mask Dog, what was that? It was a U.S. politician having it in his portfolio. That, went viral on Twitter. And then Brian Jung, YouTuber with 2 million followers, picked up on it. He changed his PFP to Ski Mask Dog. And that's how, these things go viral. For SPX, you had, Murad pick up on it. And, it does 100x super fast. At this stage in the market, unless you're putting in big money into those coins, you're not, they won't get you rich, right? But you can make good gains. And sometimes it's not a bad strategy to, find a good, meme coin or whatever that has been confirmed by the market, like Ponky is a good one. It's been holding this floor, $175 million market cap. You know, I think Ponky can get, is one that could get to, you know, it could get to 30 billion, 20, 30 billion dollar market cap, which would put it at give you 100x if it got there, right? This still has 100x in it at this stage in the market, I think. Because I think once it gets to a billion or so, if it then gets listed, if it can get there early enough in the cycle and then gets listed on Binance or Coinbase, you know, you could catch one. You could catch 100x here, but who knows? Yeah. Yeah. Virtuals. Oh, I'm not familiar with AI 16Z. Yeah. Virtuals is an AI agent platform. Sherply. I've never heard of Sherply. I will put it up. I want to talk about my Mint Layer interview. $3 million market cap. Nice run up last month, up about 40%. It's on Mcade. Chirply AI. All right, so let's go back to the chart. Yeah, I mean, the chart looks pretty good in terms of it put in early in the year, it moved with the AI market, which you want to see, right? You want to see it going up with the market. It did that, came back down with the market. Now it's going back up. Super small market cap, 3.5 million. So, I mean, price-wise and all that, it looks like it's catching the narrative, which is what you want to see. But you will not wait for a 10x on each alt. You will sell on the way up. Yeah, I'm definitely. So it depends. Now, those bigger caps, yeah. So for my father-in-law, I was talking about those bigger caps here. Yeah, if I think that something is going to adjust like 10x, right? If my price target on Pepe is 70 billion, I'm not waiting for that. I'd be selling before that. But again, it depends on where you are in the market, in the cycle, you know, and how everything looks, and where your portfolio is. But yes, I'm not trying to time it. If my expectation is a 10x, I'm not going to capture that full 10x more than likely, right? For some of the smaller stuff that a lot of us are in, you know, Tectum, Mcade, AI Tech, Rio, Devve, these things, I expect some of them to do more than 10x's, right? The smaller ones, the good ones, you know, I expect to maybe hopefully catch 100x out of one of them, 20x's, 30x's. Maybe some of them only do 5x's or 10x's. But my expectation is that they can do more than that. And I'll be looking to get hopefully more than a 10x out of some of them. Yeah, I always mix up the B's and the M's, buddy. Russ, thanks. Billion, not million. I always do that. Do you think there will be a lot more coins getting into billions? Yes, I do think that there will be more coins getting into billions this cycle. I made a chart about it. It's here. So every cycle, first of all, sees more money come into it. Right? So total market cap in 2013, 14 billion. 2017, 760 billion. 2021, 3 trillion total market cap. Okay. a lot more coins come into the market. And a lot of people think that because there are so many new coins coming into the market that it dilutes the market and that, not as many perform well, but that's hasn't been true. If you look at coins that have reached $1 billion by market cap, you really have to start with the 2018 cycle. 50 coins reached $1 billion market cap. In 2021, it was 135. All right, 2025, I anticipate about 400 tokens. The top 400 could very well be billion-dollar coins. And if we look at, I don't want to make you dizzy by all this scrolling, but right now, the top, well, not even 100 because the stable coins, but like 98 coins are at $1 billion right now. Well, you can round up. There are, roughly 107. And Fartcoin right here is one of them. That's crazy. You scroll down, $500 million right now. There are about 150 tokens at a $500 million market cap. I think we'll get 750 in 2025. And that's when that's why I talk about, a lot of the smaller caps like Mcade to go to a $500 million market cap, $500 million, seems like a lot. But if you consider that the top 750 coins will likely be there, which is 3x last cycle, right? If you think about, we're going to have 3x the amount of money, right? If we have $6 to $9 trillion total market cap, I would anticipate many coins getting to $500 million in market cap. And then what would that look like for, some of these? So for Devve, that would look at like, about an $8 Devve. For Mcade, if it gets there, that's 26 cents, which is still about a 10x from current prices, right? And it just did, well, it went as high as 5 cents. It's now back around 2.7, but just to get to a 500 million, which I think is very achievable, is a 10x from current prices after the move up. So Triple E is followed by CZ on Twitter and has a strong team. Thanks for sharing, brother. Can you look at Fame AI? I will pull it up. $9 million market cap. Oh, look at this. Just had a nice pop. It just did a 10x from 006. Let's see, is the website on here? World's first AI agent, Atelier, revolutionary ecosystem where custom-built AI agents drive innovation. It's on Bybit. AI-driven innovation. Transform your journey with fully customizable AI agents. Spelling error right here. They need to get an editor. Monetize your creations. Tokenize and trade your AI agent. The thing about AI, the sector, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in crypto, right? So I don't know what's what. Anyone can build a website. But if it looks decent and it's not a rug, it's going to go up with the narrative. And this has already done a 10x recently. I would be a little wary of getting in after a 10x. Just my, I try not to chase after something has gone up that much. I bought a super small cap coin called Proof AI. It's on Base. Very nice. Base AI, same token as Pepe coin. TET is cooking in Q1. Curious if they perform. Previous run. Yeah. Let's talk about TET and Mint Layer. Tectum has, it's traded in its, there's some disappointment in the community, the Tectum community. There's a lot of anticipation. It's down, but if you look at it compared to, other alts, it's basically been trading in its lower range. It's still 50% off its bottom of $4. There are a bunch of altcoins that are moving the exact same way. The issue with TET is that the team has done a bad job in terms of communication recently, right? So there was an AMA that was really anticipated. The price was $10, and during the AMA, Alex, the CEO, caused some confusion, and you could see the price drop. That caused bearish sentiment. Sentiment, though, is short-term. Tectum is still rolling out their SDK toolkit for creators. Their mainnet is still planning to go live. They still have a partnership with a big private citizen, the UAE. They've got a lot going on. Still have the fastest blockchain, 3 million TPS. They still have the soft node technology. And so nothing has changed in terms of my thesis. And when things move, they move violently, right? So again, this was December 22nd. It had pumped from $4 in October to $10 in December, right? So it was up about 150%. And then it went from $10 to $45 in 18 days. All right, so it did a 7x. It did a 150% move, a 7x, a 10x from October to January, 8-9 weeks. And what people take for granted is how short a period of time alts they make all their moves in a short period of time, basically, right? We think of this market cycle and the bull run as, a 2-year period. It's not like that. It's like, a year and a half for Bitcoin and then like 6 months for altcoins. That's how it works. And so, I have no reason to think that Tectum won't go up. And it has the potential to go up a lot, right? That's why I like it. It's also why I like Mint Layer. And I'm in the Mint Layer community also. And there's similar sentiment there because the price has been seemingly stagnant because it's not, there's certain AI tokens, AI agent narrative hits, they pop off. Random meme coins like Fart Coin pop off. The majority of alts have been down, okay? Don't get into the mindset of everyone else's coins are going up, mine are down. The majority of altcoins have suffered, recently. Mint Layer is 10 cents, not a $6 million market cap. It's an $18 million market cap, approximately. I just had Enrico on the channel. But Mint Layer is a layer 2 that for Bitcoin that allows for people to tap into Bitcoin liquidity for DeFi, right? Which is something, it's a major narrative, right? This is a $1 trillion, tokenization of real world assets is $1 trillion, multi-trillion dollar asset class. And to merge that with Bitcoin, it's a big narrative, whether it happens or not, right? Whether RWA happens or not, doesn't matter. The narrative is big. And so the market cap on something like Mint Layer could get big. And again, if you look back to earlier in the year, trading at 3 cents. I think I bought this at about 4 or 5 cents. And it went all the way, it went to over $1. It moved with Tectum. Okay. And I bought them as like kind of like hedges against each other. But when Tectum made its move, same thing happened. Right? So the moves up are violent. And, the idea is to, again, place your chips on the table on different, if you like to play in small caps, spread out on big narratives. And, the moves up are big. And if you get lucky and you catch that one that, does 100x, 500x, they don't all need to do that, right? You're not going to catch them all. It's impossible. A lot of this stuff is, someone tweets about something and it drives the market. No one could have anticipated at the beginning of last cycle that Facebook would change their name to Meta and drive Decentraland to an $8 billion market cap. You can't predict some of these things. ML Monsoon. Yeah, I do think that mint layer, again, it's one of the ones that I placed my chips in. The staking rewards are great also. I'm earning a 60% yield on my tokens in Mojito wallet to stake them. And, a $1 mint layer is a 10x. $3, 30x, and it's still 500 million. I think that 500 million is very doable. Does it happen? I don't know. But it's got the potential to get, 2 billion, 4 billion, if all things go right, right? But again, hindsight will let us know. And hopefully ML token goes to the moon. I got to cut this out. It's been an hour and a half. I could talk for another hour with you guys, but I got to jump on a space. So I'm going to cut this short here, hour and a half. I wish everyone a happy new year, safe new year. Hope you have a great New Year's Eve. Looking forward to 2025. Again, I think that the market is primed to give us what we've been waiting for. So I'll see you guys on the other side, 2025. Peace out. Have a good day.